in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection. Okay, and that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is Fight CPS with Sabrina, and I will be your host for this evening. Today we have Haley as our guest, and she would like to share her story with us. So I guess we'll get right to it. How are you doing, Haley?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So do you want to go ahead and tell us what you've been experiencing?
Kind of just from the top?
Sure.
Okay. I had gotten into a new relationship with a guy. I was single for 3 years prior to this relationship. I guess essentially he was married and I didn't know. She found out about me, and instead of coming to me, she called CPS and told them a whole bunch of lies. I've never met this woman. She's never met my son. However, they came out here and did no investigation. They just ripped him from my arms. So now he has been transferred to two different foster homes because he has been coming to my visitations with bruising and marks all over his body and disclosing stuff like his foster mom locking him outside and hitting him. And he's only 4.
Oh my goodness.
So, you know, I've been participating in what they want since day one. And you know, we're 6 months in now, and they're just now starting services. So, you know, I'm kind of worried that we're going to be going past the year mark because he was taken just a couple of days before Christmas last year.
Oh, how difficult. I'm so sorry to hear this. So you've been doing their crap for 6 months now, and what are they saying exactly to expect from on?
Well, they want me to do, obviously, my visitations that I do twice a week, parenting classes, another parenting program. I do UAs once a week for alcohol and a 5-panel, and then next month I will be doing a 8-hour psychological evaluation. I don't have any mental illness history. I don't take medications. So trauma, no abuse from the past, nothing like that. So, you know, I just feel like they're kind of just searching at this point because they know that they don't have anything.
That's what it sounds like. That's what they like to do when they don't really have anything to go with. They start throwing in all kinds of testing and classes and things so they can hopefully find some dirt to use against you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went and I hired a $400 an hour attorney, and she's great and all, but I paid her about almost $15,000 at this point, and I've won nothing. I'm probably going to go back to a court-appointed attorney because she's just not doing what she told me she could do, and that's money wasted. But it's my boy, so it's not. I'll do anything to do whatever I have to do to bring him home.
Is your attorney a family law attorney, or does she specialize in CPS cases?
She specializes in CPS cases. She actually was on the other side about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Didn't like it and switched to this side, so she knows all their tricks and all their lies and stuff that they like to do. And unfortunately for me, I just, as she said, I literally have every worst player of the court that I could have, from the judge all the way down to the CPS worker.
Oh no.
So,
and so to think that, she has that kind of experience and you paid her that amount of money, like she would do something, what is she telling you to expect? Is she promising you anything, or is she kind of telling you this is how it goes and that's it?
No, she had told me, in the beginning, oh, this is, there's no evidence. They have no photos. My son never disclosed anything in the forensic report or investigation, because I had a criminal investigation pending against me as well for it, and they closed it because there was no evidence. And she's like, this is a good case. I can get this dismissed, have him returned home, and, we'll just go from there. And then, you can handle the rest. If you want to sue them afterwards, we can do that. And it hasn't been any of that. I've lost every motion that she has ever filed. My trial was taken away from me. I didn't even get the chance to present my evidence. And, the most important motion that she's supposed to be filing is a Rule 59, and that's to bring him home. And now she's refusing to do that until I pay her another $15,000.
Wow.
So it's been hectic, crazy. It's been hell. All he wants to do is come home. He has to sit in our visits and convince these workers. The last visit, he goes, see, my mommy's a good mommy. My mommy's not mean. She's good. She loves me. She's a nice mommy. And she just shrugged it off.
Yeah. They don't like hearing things like that. They're twisted in the head.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, that's really a shame. Gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that your attorney is doing that to you. That's not right. And I would hate to give you the advice to go to a public defender, because that would probably be a whole lot worse, only because they're all in the same bed together basically, and they all are on the same side. And I always recommend a private attorney, but it definitely sounds like your private attorney isn't necessarily doing what she should be doing for you.
Right. And the reason I got a private attorney was because my attorney before her was obviously, she was working with CPS, and they scheduled a hearing and did not tell me about that hearing. So I missed it. Right. And because I missed that hearing, they took all my rights to have a trial, all of them, gone, away. So, and they just automatically ordered a dependency right then and there. And she had emailed me the beginning of the hearing saying, hey, there's a hearing, call in. And I had emailed her back immediately, and I said, I need the information. She ignored me. So I ended up losing out on that, and I think that's why this case has gotten as far as it has, because I haven't been able to present anything on my side. I have witnesses. The lady that called on me, her kid's dad actually reached out to me. He found me on Facebook and told me, I was there the night that she called, and she lied and she said all those things, and I'm willing to testify for you.
Wow.
And I brought that to my attorney. I showed DCS, the text messages between me and him, the Facebook messages from me and him of him saying she lied, and they just don't care.
Wow. I mean, family court, or not family court, but child dependency court normally they just go off of hearsay. They don't really care about evidence or anything like that. But having that like written that she lied, that's pretty like clean cut, like proof. And I definitely recommend bringing that into the courts. If your attorney isn't doing that, there's something weird going on.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like, a closed case kind of a deal. Like, we have proof now that they lied, and why do we still have a case going? I went through something many years ago, and I had a landlord, and she had some mental issues because her daughters both passed away, and it was Christmas time, so she wanted her apartment back immediately. Well, I needed a little more notice. It was literally the day before Christmas, and because I didn't move out quick enough for her, she called CPS on me, and she sent me a text message telling me that she's going to call CPS on me, and basically admitting that she's full of shit and she's trying to cause havoc for us.
Mm-hmm.
So when the CPS worker showed up, she showed up with the DA with her, and he had guns on him and like just the whole works. And I showed her the text. The second that I showed her that, it was a done deal. She told me, okay, obviously this is, not real. This is somebody who's like out for vengeance. And so it's a closed case, and they left me alone at that point.
See, I wish, but I think part of the problem that we're having is my son is half black. And I know everybody pulls that card and says that, but just the way that he has been treated, and the way that they looked at me when they first came here. I live by myself. He has his own room. My fridge. I got food and everything you can imagine this little boy has, and they didn't even look at none of that. They just said, screw it, we're taking him. And, since he's been taken, I have photos and videos of continuous abuse that he has been entailing while in foster home. I've taken all those photos to my attorney, to the AAG, to everybody, and they're telling me that I'm delusional and I need counseling because I'm seeing things.
Oh my gosh.
That's
horrible.
Yeah, and it's like their photos, and they're time stamped, date stamped, you know what I mean? You can see when they were taken.
Yeah.
So
they're just saying that to you because they're trying to like have their own backs, trying to not be in trouble for allowing this to happen on their watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yep. So I at this point, I'm just I've been peeing clean for 6 months. I was supposed to have a rule out UA in the beginning to see if I even needed to test. It was negative, and here I am 6 months later still testing.
Was there ever drugs involved at all in any point of this whole investigation?
No, not at all.
Well, they don't have a reason to really test you. They're just trying to hopefully catch you with something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. And it's just, whatever, I'm still going to be peeing clean, but it's just the point of that I still have to take days off from work.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. It is like more than having just a regular job and then having to live your own life on top of that. It is really a lot. So you've been testing and you've been doing all your classes. Have you missed any classes or any tests or any reason for them to try to tell you that they need more time or they need to investigate more or anything like that?
Nothing. I have done everything down to the T. The problem is that they dragged their feet for 5 months. I didn't hear from my caseworker for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get just like started doing service besides the testing, but like the classes, whatnot, about a month ago. So I'm only a month into their services as per se because of that.
You're breaking up a little bit with your volume, by the way.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. No, I was saying I've been in services like the UAs. I started at the very beginning. Visitations I started from the very beginning. But as far as parenting classes go, and counseling and all that. I didn't get referred until a month ago. So
That's not right.
no, it's not. And I feel like that's what they're going to use in court. Oh, well, she hasn't had time.
Yeah.
Services. When in reality, they drag their feet.
Yeah, it's definitely that. They're definitely playing games with you right now. The longer that he's in their care, the longer that they continue to get money from the state, so it's in their best interest to keep you in the system for as long as possible. And yeah, they're supposed to get you started in that right away, in the very beginning. So yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to try to say that you need more time with all of that. Gosh, that's really frustrating.
Right.
What are your visits like?
September? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The last hearing is September 30th.
September. When's the next hearing?
That's the last one.
That's the only one that's set.
Mm-hmm. We already went through all the other hearings and motions that my attorney had filed. Everything on my end got denied. So now the judge, however, she was a little frustrated that DCS dragged their feet for 5 months because initially it wasn't supposed to be the end until December. But because she found out that they were purposely dragging their feet, she moved the case up 3 months.
That's a good sign. Yeah, because that's a long time, to not have your child with you, right. And they're just animals. They're ruthless. What are your visits like? Are they giving you decent hours with your visits? Are they giving you overnights? Anything like that?
I get 2 hours 2 times a week. I just asked her for overnights 2 days ago, and she had the nerve to tell me that she doesn't feel that I'm ready. And I'm like, you've been monitoring me for 6 months now. I've never missed nothing. My visits are going great. My parenting classes are going great. My parenting lady told me she doesn't have any concern. So it's just like, I told her I only have 3 months left in the case. I need to start bringing him back into being home.
Yeah.
He's going through a lot, baby. And, it's getting to the point now that when he goes to the end of the visit, he's clinging onto my neck. He's clinging onto the door, begging me, Mommy, please don't make me go back. I don't want to go back.
Oh, it's so difficult.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And I know because he's being mistreated.
Yeah. That's just awful. And they see this, they're monitoring your visits, I assume. And they see all this, the kids begging to go back home. Do you think it's really that bad for them at home? Like,
right.
Probably not.
Exactly. Yeah, they, my attorney.
Oh, I can't hear you again. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I'm on Wi-Fi. I don't know what the problem is today. You hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
They're refusing to give my attorney the disclosure from the forensic report and the police investigation that happened. And so I went ahead and I went down to the police station and requested those police records myself. I wanted the video recording of his interview because the detective had told me he never disclosed anything. There was no evidence of abuse, and that's why they closed it. So I feel like that's what they're trying to use against me right now to keep the case open because they know that I don't have that report.
Yeah, you're really smart. you're like that's really awesome that you went down there and did that. God, it is so frustrating to me that they don't have anything. There's parents out there who literally abuse their kids to the point where they're coming to school all bruised up and bleeding, and they leave those kids there. But kids like your son, that seem like you're a great parent, you have a house for him, room for him, everything, and they're not letting you have him. And that's the kind of stuff that really bothers me a lot. You know, it's not okay.
It's very frustrating. So, like,
Yeah.
there are tons of kids that, you know, especially where I live, fentanyl is a huge problem.
You're cutting out again.
Jesus. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Out here in Arizona, there's the problem with fentanyl. Like, it's huge. And
Yeah.
there are kids and parents on the side of the street with like newborns and little children strung out and homeless, and they don't even look at those people.
Gosh, that's a shame. Yeah, the fentanyl epidemic is pretty huge out here in California too. But Arizona, like I cannot tell you how many cases I keep hearing are in Arizona. Like, I mean, every day. It's a lot.
Yeah, they're number one. Arizona is number one in the United States for removing children from good homes.
Wow. It's heartbreaking.
It's disgusting.
It is.
Sick. So
all they see is a paycheck when they see our kids, you know? That's all they are to them, is a paycheck. It's horrible. But yeah, I would definitely do something about the lawyer situation, because it sounds like your lawyer is not doing what she should be doing for you. You have proof, you know, that what was said is a lie. You know, you have all your drug tests, you have all your meetings and whatever, everything is done. You have 6 months of that. They should be giving you at least overnights at this point. And, you know, if not completely giving him back to you. And the fact that they're not giving you a reason is really just BS, you know?
Yeah, no, she's telling me she doesn't feel that I'm ready yet. And, but don't worry, it's going to happen in the near future.
Don't believe anything they say. They're such liars. So, but when she says that, what does she mean by you're not ready? What is she expecting you to do to be ready?
She's trying to tell me and tell my attorney that I haven't been engaging in services since the beginning. I told her, I said, let's not play that card, because you know good and well that I have a stack, let alone a binder, full of everything that I have done in this process from the beginning. I literally have every drug test I've ever taken. I got pieces of paper for that. Every class I've taken, everything since the beginning, I have put in a binder.
Good for you. That's awesome.
So that's why she's telling me that I haven't participated up to her stage, which is just not true. It's not done everything. I went above and beyond and even went out and did my own parenting classes, my own counseling, my own UA, so they couldn't try and say, "Oh, my UA was dirty." It's my own UAs. I put more money into CPS than CPS probably has themselves.
You've been having to pay for your own UAs?
No, so not the ones that they make me take, but I have taken my own.
Your own as well?
Yes, just before I take theirs, because you know how they are.
That is so smart.
This is dirt. It's not.
They're crooked. They're completely crooked. They one time tried to tell me that I came back positive for everything. And my counselor at the time called me and told me, like, don't worry, I have your back. I know this is impossible. But they do that all the time. So that's really smart of you to do that.
And, you know, I have that psychological evaluation coming up here in July, and I have scheduled myself from an independent doctor, my own psych evaluation, just because, again, I know that they're going to try and say, oh, she needs all this medication, all this counseling, and I don't.
Yep. Because ultimately, they receive more money for you if you do have some kind of health condition or mental health condition. And a lot of times they won't even take your private doctor into consideration. They will only take their doctors into consideration because they know their doctors are going to give them the answers that they want.
Right. Well, what I did was I kind of searched their list of providers that they use, And I just didn't, I picked from one of their providers, but I did not tell them that I was part of DCS. And so they still accepted me. I still have an appointment with their provider, but all the information is going to be going to me and not DCS. So that way, when I get into court, they can try and fight it all they want, but it is a person that they use. So they can't.
Okay. Wow. So on top of everything that they recommended, you've gone above and beyond. And they're still telling you that they don't feel like that it's a good time for you to get your son home, that they want more from you?
Yep, exactly. And, I have started a business out in Washington with my mother. And the business has, got off the ground and it's going. And made it very clear that we need to be out there. My son needs to be with me, and we need to leave the state. And they're just not having it. I had to re-sign another lease just to be here to be able to get him back. And my biggest fear is that I go through all these programs, I do all the services, this, that, and the other, and then we get into court and they try and terminate my right.
Yeah. Right. It's crazy. And so many people are going through the same thing. And the fact that it's still being allowed to happen is just mind-blowing to me. But I mean, if you guys have a business in another state and you're trying to get out there, you would think that like your lawyer would be helping you trying to get this resolved even quicker, so that way you guys can, transfer out there. It sounds like they're really messing you around here.
Yep.
I know they do it to everyone, but I mean, it really sounds like they have nothing to go off of, and they're just waiting it out to see if you mess up somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. They're not going to get that from me. I work all day long. I work for a reconstruction company. So, I'm hanging drywall. I'm doing flooring, stuff like that. And
cool.
That's all my time goes into, aside from what DCS wants. I don't have friends out here. My family's not out here. I keep my head down and I do what I'm told. So they're not going to.
We're losing you on the volume again.
I don't know what's going on my phone today.
It's just cutting out a little bit.
Okay.
So what? So you don't have another court case until September? Is that what you said?
That's the last one. That's the permanency hearing.
The permanency hearing. Mm-hmm. Wow. And how is it going with the foster parents? I know you said that he has some bruises on him and he was clinging to you for dear life visits, but what are you feeling about the foster parents? Are you feeling that they're trying to take your son from you? Are they playing games? Are they making it worse?
Yeah, 100%. She makes him call her mom. She makes him call her children, brother and sister. And he's told me just last week that his foster mom came and told him that he's never coming back to me. You're never going back. That's what he told her.
That is not even allowed.
Right, exactly. And I had a video visit with him today, and I had asked him, you playing outside? What did you do today? He told me, oh, so-and-so threw me outside and locked me out because she was mad at me.
What in the world?
So, I don't know.
And is anybody monitoring these calls?
Yeah, the case aide.
Okay. And they're not doing anything about this?
No, because essentially, they're mandatory reporters. They're supposed to, if something fishy is going on, they're supposed to report it and have that person investigated, and there's been nothing. I have had to call the cops. I have had to make CPS reports. I have had to call the foster care board. And nothing. So she's purposely trying to isolate my son and tell him, she's told him that I don't love him because if I did, he would be home with me. And I've sent him over $500 worth of brand new clothes and toys and whatnot for him to have there. And they gave it to her other children. He gets nothing. She told me to stop sending stuff over there for him, like toys and clothes, and he'll pick out a favorite stuffed animal that he wants. And he told him to tell me to not let him bring that over there, putting my child in the middle of it.
Jeez. That's really messed up. How many other kids do they have in the house with him?
2.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Gosh, that is so messed up. And the fact they're giving the stuff that you bought for him to their other kids?
Yeah.
That's a nightmare. Like, really, they shouldn't be foster parents, you know, if they're doing stuff like that. But, you know, the social workers, well, they'll never do anything about it. You know, even when they, you know, overhear your visits and they hear things like that, they won't do anything about it because they can't risk their foster parents looking bad or doing something wrong and, you know, resulting in a bad situation for them.
Right.
It's really just disgusting. You know, you're going to leave a kid in this situation that is already super confusing already as it is. And you're going to tell this little boy to call you mom and sister and brother. And like, that is really wrong. Have you brought this? I mean, I'm sure you have. You brought this to the attention of the social worker. And what does she tell you?
That's the thing with her is she doesn't respond to me unless she wants something from me.
Right.
Oh, you have to go do this class or this class. I don't hear from her. I have text screenshots, emails, miles long of me voicing concerns and asking questions and nothing back, not even a peep.
Have you tried requesting a different social worker?
Yeah. Got shut out for that too. I've taken it to their boss's boss. I've gone all the way up. I've taken it to the governor, the senator, the ombudsman. I've gone pretty high, and nobody seems to care.
You're right. You know, and it's not that they don't care. It's that there's so many people that are doing the same thing, that are, you know, asking for help and reaching out to as many people as they can, that they're so overwhelmed with things. And they know that, you know, because of the 97 Bill Clinton Act, that when a child gets taken away, there's all kinds of benefits for the social workers, for the courts, for everybody involved for taking kids away. And so all they really see is the money, and that's all they really care about. And it's really, really sad, you know. And that's why I'm here right now with you. That's why I'm gonna devote my life into helping other people, because it's so wrong and nobody deserves to go through this. You know, it's like one of the worst things as a mother or even as a father, to have your child taken from you, and your son being so young. Like, you're missing out on like all kinds of things that, you know, you want to be there for, and that time is so precious, and they just don't give a crap about that. And it's so heartbreaking. I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through all this. But it sounds like you're really like on it. You're doing the right thing and reaching out to everyone like that. Definitely keep all of those screenshots and emails and text messages, and, you know, create like a big notebook for yourself. And I would take it into the courts and demand that the judge looks at this, you know, because quite frankly, it is evidence, you know, it is something that could potentially help your case and to get your son back. So I would like demand that the judge reads, you know, what is actually happening versus only hearing one side from the social worker, which is what usually happens.
Right, 100%. And, you know, the big problem that I have right now is the foster parents are trying to take my child out of state.
Oh, what?
They're trying to take him to Universal Studios next month. And I lost it. I told them that's absolutely inappropriate. That's not their place. They do not have custody of my child. I still have my rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, what happens if he gets hurt? He's 4. He shouldn't be going on roller coasters.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, no.
I agree completely. Yeah. There's a lot going on, and they already have 2 kids, you know, like that could be a bad situation really quickly.
Right.
I don't blame you for being freaked out about that. What did they tell you? What did the social worker tell you about that? Do you get a say so in whether he goes?
She said, oh, that foster parents are allowed to take him out of state, and because they try to keep it as normal as possible for the child. And I said, and that my reasoning for not wanting him to go wasn't good enough. Like, what happens what happens if he gets hurt? What happens if he gets lost or someone takes? I'll know these parks. They're no joke. Kids go missing every day in those things, and one of my biggest teachers told me that.
Yeah. You're breaking up just a little bit still. It kind of just goes in and out. Somebody. Yeah, I'm sorry. What was that?
I said, what part did you hear last?
No, I understood it all, but it was just kind of going in and out. You know, I don't think that's crazy at all. I think that you're dead on, and I wouldn't want my child to be taken, you know, out of the state into a crazy theme park, you know, right in summertime when it's like the most busiest. And like, yeah, I wouldn't want that either. And it shouldn't even be a question.
Right.
You know, because if you wanted to take him out of state, they wouldn't let you do that. Not at this point, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's just awful. So are they going to allow him to go?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Sure. Unless, you know, there's some sort of miracle that happens and he comes home before that. But he's scheduled to go to Universal Studios July 3rd because his birthday is July 4th. So they're there for his birthday, but it's like now all my visits are canceled for that week.
Right.
I don't get to have or celebrate my son's birthday with him.
I would go to the court with this. I would go to the courthouse and make a complaint, like write a letter to the judge, or maybe ask your attorney what she thinks, you know, the best way to do this is. There's got to be something that you can file with the courts to stop this from happening, because as you said, you still have your rights, and that is a pretty good reason why you wouldn't want him to go. And I know that, like, most of the time in courts with the social workers, they don't tell you this, but their job is to give the judge their recommendations on what's going on. And it's our job to fight those recommendations, but they don't put it that way. And they don't tell us that at all. They just kind of go with what the social workers say. And it's not necessarily, you know, how it's supposed to go. So you do have some kind of a say-so in this, I would think. And I would try to get to the judge so he can personally, you know, see what's going on here. And maybe when he sees all this, he'll just close out your whole case, because they really don't have anything to go off of. You're not testing dirty. There's never been drugs around. You know, there's no harm to the child. You're doing all you're doing and then some. What do they have? Like, they don't have anything, you know?
Right. No, they're trying to tell me that my son said to them that I beat him with a belt at 4. That's what they're going off of. And it's like, I haven't owned a belt and I can't even remember how long. I don't even have a belt. So, like, I know that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're really good at manipulating kids into saying things, or they like to reword things. And yeah, for my case, they tried to tell me that there was like 30 something allegations against me, right? I'm thinking that I'm going to court, everything's going to be dropped because there's no criminal charges. And then the day before court, the social worker calls me and tells me, oh, actually, your daughter said that, you know, Nana made her lie. So now nothing that she says is accountable. So they dropped all of that. kids, you know, make things up when they're like prompted or told, or, you know, have a story in their head, when social workers, like, you know, that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to twist things around and open kids up in a way that they want and get them to say things that they want them to say.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, and that's them saying that literally within 2 minutes of him being ripped from my arms, you know, like, and he had just talked to my mom about 30 minutes before that for like an hour. And don't you think if that were to be something that was going on in this household, he would tell his Nana?
Yeah.
You know, and nothing. I don't even spank my child. Like, I do the gentle parent. Don't raise my voice. You know what I mean? I don't believe in physical punishment. You know, I was abused as a child, and you know, I always promised that I would never treat my child or children that way, and I haven't. And it's worked very well. You know, obviously he's ornery sometimes. He's a typical 4-year-old little boy.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to ever have to lay it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was abused too, and I always swore I would never hit my kid. My kid's crazy though. Like she won't sit in timeout, but I still won't hit her, because the one time that she got spanked as a kid, she literally laughed at me. So I figured it's like, this is a waste of time anyways, and I felt so horrible doing it. But yeah. Oh, kids, right?
Yeah.
So, what is your mom saying about all this? Is she trying to help you at all? Has she come forward to the social workers to like tell them that they're wrong, or that she is, you know, witnessed nothing like this? Or
Yes, but the problem is my mom's like a 50-time.
She's what?
She's like a 50-time felon.
Oh, okay.
She got a rap sheet longer than anybody I know, and she's had CPS cases herself. I grew up in the system. I grew up in foster care.
Okay.
And so, you know, to them, that's just another dysfunctional parent that can't. So they don't care what she has to say. You know, I've gotten my boss has been a witness for me. My coworkers, my babysitter, like my growing up like friends, you know, from my past, and they don't care. They don't want to hear it. They're stuck in their ways, and they've made their decision.
Yeah. It's horrible how they are. So they're just looking at you like, mom's got a rap sheet, you know, you know, your son's half black and you have tattoos or piercings or purple hair or whatever the case may be. And they just automatically put you in that category, like you're an effed up person and you shouldn't have your kids. But it really is just an excuse to get money for them. It's so freaking annoying and heartbreaking. And the amount of people that are going through the same thing, it just drives me insane. You know, like how you can just judge someone that you don't even really know. You know, they don't know you. They don't, you know, when they came and took your son, ripped him from your arms, like they don't know anything about you. They're just going off of an allegation. And to rip somebody's entire family apart over an allegation, you know, when it's clearly somebody that, you know, would say something to hurt you in spite because, you know, whatever reason. And they know that. They know damn well that that's the case, that, you know, somebody's just angry with you. So they're trying to take it out and call CPS to get you in trouble for something that never really happened. And there needs to be like some kind of law in place that stops people from doing stuff like that. You know, they get away with it every time, even when it comes to light that, yes, they were lying, they made the whole thing up. Nothing ever happens to those people that just caused a whole lot of drama and ripped a whole family apart. And like, why? You know, why is there nothing in place that punishes these people, that prevents them from doing this? But no. They just keep getting away with it.
They, you know, when people call the hotline, they have that little speech on there that, oh, you know, if a claim is made falsely, you can have this amount of time in jail with this fine, blah 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 blah, but it doesn't happen. And another thing that like blows my mind is that half of these caseworkers don't even have kids. So how are you going to tell me how to parent my child and you don't have children?
Yes. I had a really hard time with that with mine. And to have like a worker that's like 19, 20 years old who doesn't have any kids telling me what I can and cannot do with my child, it was just so annoying. We went to the park on like one of my first visits, and the social worker was kind of an older lady, and I asked her if she had kids, and she told me no, that she doesn't have kids because she wouldn't be a good mother. And so we're at the park, and I got my daughter a Lunchable. Oops, looks like we lost you. I got my daughter a Lunchable, and she told me that I needed to stop feeding her, that she couldn't finish the whole thing. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. It drives me nuts when they do that. Let's see if we can get Haley back on here. Just give her a few minutes. If anybody else out there listening wants to share your story, I would love to hear it. I'm super bummed out that there's so many of us that are going through the same thing. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. It kind of helps everyone when, we can hear other stories that are kind of similar. It helps us kind of get through it. I just watched a video not too long ago, and it was the police were with the social workers, and they were ripping literally a newborn from their mom's arms. And I could not help myself but like cry when I saw this. And technically, the police didn't even have the right to do it. They were just going off of what the social worker said. There was no court order in place. There was no documentation for the police to go off of. But because they are who they are, the police backed them up, and they ripped this newborn from their mother's arms. And it's just so heartbreaking. Hi, Haley. We have you back.
Sorry. I don't know. My phone tripped out and just cut everything off.
No worries. So, yeah. No, you go ahead.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, at this point, I just kind of, you start to kind of lose hope, when you're doing everything that you can, you're a damn good parent, you know what I mean? And they sit here and constantly tell you, you're not nothing. You amount to nothing. You're not doing nothing right. You're garbage,
Yes.
And they show it. They don't just say it. They show it by their actions and not allowing you to parent right. You want to see how I parent, you know what I mean? But I can't bathe my son. I'm not allowed to give him this. I'm not allowed to give him that. And it's like, I don't even know. It is. And especially when you know that you're working your butt off to do what you need to do. But then, you read all these stories from all these other people that I did everything that I was supposed to do, and they still took my child. They still took my rights away. And it's just like, in the beginning, the AAG and my caseworker straight told me and my attorney, we could have yanked her rights right then and there, but we're giving her a chance. Seriously? Like, wow, thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow. They're trying to be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So,
do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about your experience in foster care?
Yeah. I was in foster care from about, I want to say 12 years old until 18. It's not a good experience. I probably jumped around from 6 different foster homes during that time. The first foster home I was in, I got kicked out. They moved me because they didn't want to deal with me because I had gotten suspended from school from sitting on my best friend's lap. And that was a big no-no. So I got in trouble for that. They got moved around probably to like 4 more different foster homes until the last foster home. I don't know if anybody watches football, but Marshawn Lynch for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
His grandma was my foster mom.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just going to say right now, that lady is racist. You know, she doesn't like white people. And I was the only white child there.
Oh.
I got locked in basements. I got starved. You know, I had to wear crappy clothes while the other kids got, brand new clothes for school, brand new shoes, got their hair done. And so finally I just said, screw this. And I ran away. And I was gone until I was literally of age to be out of the system. And that was that.
I don't blame you. That does not sound, I don't get where they get these people from, like why become a foster parent if you're going to be that way?
Right. Well, they think that just because they have a clean background and they took their little 8-hour class to become a foster parent and be certified that, they're just good to go. When in reality, it strikes me odd if somebody doesn't have a speeding ticket or, something on their background. You know what I mean? It just means that they haven't gotten caught or they're very good at covering it up, and that's scary.
Yep. I agree with you on that one. Wow. So that must be really difficult to have gone through that. And then now as an adult having to deal with this with your own son, it must just be like 10 times more frightening for you.
Frightening, but it also breaks my heart for my mother because now I know how she felt and now I know what she went through. And, as much as, I don't want to say she deserved it, because nobody deserves to have their children ripped from their arms. But, maybe she should have done like the parenting classes and maybe just been a little better. You know what I mean? But I don't think she deserved what she went through. And I know that I don't deserve what I'm going through, and it makes me respect her 100 times more for getting through that because she's got 7 kids.
Oh, wow.
And they took every single one of us. So now she's got every single one of her kids back in her care, and she has now for 10 years.
That's great. Are you guys really close?
Yes, we are.
That is so wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Is there anything else you want to say before we end?
Just to anybody that's watching, they are the devil and they will do anything they can to break you, but just don't give up because that's what they want. They want you to give up. They want you to back down. And because when you do that, you're showing them exactly everything that they have said about you. So just be strong and, keep everything up and keep doing what you're doing and keep being an amazing parent and an amazing person because it will pay off.
That's awesome. And yeah, you are 100% correct. The biggest thing that that lawyers see and people in this industry see is parents giving up too early, too soon, when realistically it could have been years of going through stuff, but they end up giving up because, like you said, it's just so much that you feel like, where do I go from here? Like, there's nothing left. So you're right, hang in there. If anybody else wants to share their story, like I was saying earlier, please get a hold of us. Haley, thank you so much for coming on. I would love it if you came back on and gave us an update.
Sure.
And if you want to reach out to me, feel free to. I really hope this works out for you. It doesn't sound like they have anything to go off of. So hopefully you can get your word to the judge or get all your information to the judge and kind of get this thrown out because this is just ridiculous.
I will definitely let you guys know and keep you updated. And,
wonderful.
Hopefully the next time I'm on here, I'll have little man right next to me and you guys can meet little man.
That would be so cool.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for viewing, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, Haley. Thank you so much again.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.